Welcome again to my new series here on our YouTube channel for the Curious Cat Bookshop, where I talk about all the new things in the store this week. So this week, we are going to be talking about, this is Maria Semple's Go Gently. It's a brand new book by the author of Where'd You Go, Bernadette? And it's about a woman who is trying to just embrace being content with everything that she currently has in her life, her teenage daughter, and the community that she's built around herself. But then she meets a man who pulls her into all this international intrigue and mystery. And then everything kind of goes off like a bomb, and she admits that she does want more. And there's romance and an art heist and all sorts of stuff. So that is Maria Semple's Go Gentle. Now in paperback, Ina Garten's Be Ready When the Luck Happens. It's her memoir. So if you love Ina Garten's Barefoot Contessa cooking show, this is the book for you to pick up if you haven't seen it already in hardcover. Next up is Ann Tyler's latest novel, now in paperback, 3 Days in June. And it's about a woman whose daughter is about to get married, and her ex-husband shows up on her doorstep without a place to stay. She's not getting invited to all the pre-wedding events, and things just kind of snowball when her daughter finds out something about her husband that she doesn't really want to know. Also now in paperback, The Road to Tender Hearts by Anne Hartnett. This one was really popular when it was out in hardcover. So if you missed it when it was in hardcover, time to pick it up. This is a darkly comic novel about a man who is on a road trip to reunite with his high school crush and his adult daughter, 2 orphaned kids, and a cat who can predict death also come along for the ride. Next up, Surrender by Jennifer Acker. It's about a woman who leaves her life in the city to go home to save the family farm in Western Massachusetts. Her husband follows her reluctantly, and then he starts to get sick, and she makes friends. She reignites a friendship with a childhood friend, and then that becomes more, and all sorts of complications ensue as she tries to raise goats and produce goat milk. But this is more than like a farming narrative. It's really a slice of life with a little bit of emotional complications in the relationships between people. Next up, also now in paperback on the nonfiction side, is What If We Get It Right? Visions of Climate Futures by Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson. And she's been recently making like the talk show circuit. So I recently saw her, I think, on The Daily Show. This is on my list because this is one of those books that's trying to give us a vision of what we really could do to make the future a brighter one. Next up is Big Chief by John Hickey. It was his debut novel. It's now in paperback. So he's not a lawyer, but he is a law school graduate, and he's an aspiring political fixture who goes home to his reservation, and he is trying to help. He is an outsider on his reservation, the Anishinaabe reservation, but he is trying to help his childhood friend run the tribal government and the tribe's casino. But on the eve of the tribal presidential election, this nationally known activist comes back to the reservation with the presidential candidate's little sister and kind of upends the presidential election, and a whole bunch of trouble ensues. Also new this week in hardcover is the second book in the new James S.A. Corey science fiction series. It's book 2 of The Captives' War. It's a new series by the authors of The Expanse. James S.A. Corey is actually a pen name for 2 authors that work together. So if you are a science fiction fan, especially if you're a fan of The Expanse, this is one to check out. The first book in the series is The Mercy of God. So if you haven't read that one, pick that one up first and then pick up The Faith of Beasts. Also new in the store, but not necessarily brand new, is this series that was originally self-published and is now out from Simon & Schuster Saga Press. You can see that it's giving it the full sprayed edges treatment. This is the Bobiverse. I haven't read them yet, but I'm hearing good things that they've just suddenly started to break out in the last couple of weeks. And I'm starting to get a bunch of requests for them. So the first book in the series is We Are Legion, We Are Bob. The second one is For We Are Many. And the third one is All These Worlds. So those are new in the store, and they're coming out pretty quick. There's a new one coming sometime in the next couple of weeks, and another one coming in May. And also brand new in the store is Last One Out by Jane Harper. If you're a mystery fan, this one is one to take a look at. Ro Crowley waits for her son on the evening of his 21st birthday, but he never shows up, completely disappears. They only have his footprints to follow. There's no body or anything like that. And then 5 years later, she still has no answers. So Ro sets out for answers. And then in children's, brand new today is Life on the Moon by Matthew Swanson and Robbie Bear. This is about a 12-year-old boy who is one of the first colonists on the moon, and his dad is sent on an urgent assignment right as they get there, and he disappears. And everybody says that his dad is a deserter, but Leo, who's the main character, doesn't think so. So he sets out on a journey to find his dad on the moon, and he finds more than he expected. He finds life on the moon. And take a look at this. So this is the jacket, and that's the case. So that's a nice illustrated middle grade book, and that will be a lot of fun for your middle grade fans of science fiction. Also new in paperback for the middle grade crowd is The Misfits Book 2. This is a copycat conundrum. If you have read any Lisa Yee, you know how hilarious her books are. This is no difference. This is modern day science fiction. The Misfits are a group of kids who go to this fancy private school in San Francisco, and they create a club with their teacher. They are set apart in book 1 as kids who might be able to help with some spycraft. It's a lot of fun. It is hilarious, just like anything that Lisa Yee does. This is The Misfits, a copycat conundrum by Lisa Yee for middle grade. And it is also illustrated by Caldecott Award winner Dan Santat. The audiobooks are amazing, but you definitely want to pick up the actual book because you want to be able to see those illustrations. And a few new picture books. We've got Everyone Can Learn to Ride a Bicycle by Chris Roshka, which is, getting warm outside. It's a perfect time to learn to ride a bike or read about it at the very least. This is actually a beginning reader about Ratoncito, and the box, if you've got a brand new reader, Level 1, Level 2, we have them set apart in the chapter book section by reading level. Take a look at that. And the last picture book that we have this week is Axel the Axolotl is Not a Frog. If you have a kid, right now axolotls are the animal. Like sloths are pretty cool. There are a few other cool animals, but axolotls are the thing, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So this is a very cute picture book from the point of view of the axolotl trying to make friends, but everybody thinks he's a tadpole. These were actually new last week, but we just got them in and I wanted to point them out to you. They're nonfiction. This Land is Your Land by Beverly Gage. And Beverly Gage is a historian who decided to celebrate America 250 by going on an epic road trip to all of the historical revolutionary sites. So that is one to take a look at, not just for the history of the United States, but for the discussion of that history with a historian like Beverly Gage. And this is Here Where We Live is Our Country by Molly Crabapple. That also came out last week. It's the history of the Jewish Bund, which was a social movement in post-World War II Europe in the aftermath of the Holocaust. The book started with a painting that Molly Crabapple, the author, found painted by her great-grandfather, I believe. Yes. And so she discovered these paintings, and one stood out to her called Itka the Bundist Breaking Windows. And that is how she found out about the Jewish Bund. So this was a political force in the mid-20th century that was secular, socialist, and anti-Zionist. They fought for dignity and equality, not in Palestine, but here where we live, speaking specifically of Europe. So this is a history of the Bund, their stories through the Russian Revolution, the Holocaust, and other European history. This one's an interesting one for me because I don't really know much about Jewish history in Europe other than the Holocaust. And so this will be really great for me to expand my understanding of that. And if you feel the same way, I think it's going to be a great book to pick up. And then also new in the store this week, and I can't seem to find most of them anywhere because I've been doing a whole bunch of blind dates with the book, hence the piles and piles of stuff on the table in the middle of the store if you've been here recently. But here are a couple of new stickers. I love you a waffle lot. We've got new cards and not just anniversary cards, but graduation cards, Mother's Day cards that came from this same artist and from a couple of other artists. Those are in our cards section. And this cute vintage camera that I am looking forward to putting in our blind dates with a book as well. So it's a little bit of chaos here lately, but that's what we've got new in the store this week. And as usual, I'm going to put the list of these down below. And if you have any questions about any of these books, or if there's something out this week that you would like us to make sure that we have in the store, let us know in the comments. Thanks. Bye.